My child, stop and listen, for this is not another whisper to soothe you. This is a divine interruption. You have circled the same mountains, cried the same tears, carried the same wounds, and I say to you now, I will not let you go through that again. The hour has come to break the cycle, to end what has endlessly repeated. You have reached the line where heaven speaks enough. This is not a message of comfort alone. It is a decree of deliverance. Lean in, for what I am about to reveal will shift the course of your life forever. Listen, my beloved, for it is in the silence that I speak the loudest. When the noise of this world fades, when you are left alone with your thoughts, when even your prayers feel like whispers lost in the wind, that is where I am nearest. You have looked for me in the thunder, in the bright lights, in the moments of glory, but I have been in the stillness, calling softly to the depths of your soul. You thought I had forgotten you, but child, I could never forget the one I formed with my own hands. Every breath you take, every tear that falls unseen, every ache you could not name, I have felt it all. I have watched you walk through the corridors of your own confusion, searching for me in places where your heart could not find peace. Yet even then, I was whispering your name. I was behind every closed door, before every broken dream, beneath every night of silence. You thought the quiet was emptiness, but it was me creating space for revelation. Do you remember the times you called out and heard nothing in return? You assumed I was absent, but silence is not absence. My silence was the pause before the unveiling, the holy stillness that prepares the heart to hear truth differently. You could not hear me because you were surrounded by echoes of fear, guilt, and doubt. So I allowed the noise to fall away, so that you could finally discern my voice among the thousand others that demand your attention. And now, in this very moment, I am breaking the stillness once again to tell you, I was never gone. My presence never left you. Even when you wandered, I followed. Even when you turned away, I stayed. For my love is not conditional, nor can it be deterred by your failures or your fatigue. I know the long nights that shaped you, the kind that made your soul tremble and your faith feel fragile. I know the thoughts you never voiced, the questions you feared would make you faithless. I saw the quiet surrender in your heart, the part of you that said, maybe this is just how it will always be. But hear me. I am speaking now to interrupt that lie. You were not created to live in the echo of pain, nor to walk beneath the weight of what you cannot change. I have come to lift the burden that silence placed upon you. The time of waiting without hearing has come to an end. The very air around you will begin to shift, for my word carries life, and where my voice is, things cannot remain the same. So hear me now, child. The silence was never punishment. It was preparation. I was not far. I was forming something eternal within you. And as you listen in this sacred stillness, you will begin to realize that every unanswered prayer, every quiet season, every moment you thought was wasted, was me drawing you into the deeper chambers of my presence. For you are known. You are seen. You are not alone. And I, the Lord your God, am calling your name once more, not to remind you of where you've been, but to awaken you to where I am taking you next. You have grown weary, haven't you, beloved? The kind of weariness that sits in your bones, not just your body. You wake up and breathe, but deep inside you feel as though you've been walking in circles, trapped in an endless loop of almosts and not yets. I have watched you face the same heartbreak in different faces, the same pain dressed in new seasons, the same lesson replayed through shifting circumstances. You've cried out, "Why am I back here again, Lord? Why do I keep going through this?" And I tell you now, it was never to torment you, but to teach you what you could not see when the pain first began. Every repetition was a revelation. Every cycle was a mirror, showing you what your heart refused to release. You thought you were losing progress, but I was leading you deeper. For sometimes, what looks like circles to you is actually a spiral, not returning to the same place, but moving inward, closer to the core of transformation. You see, I never wanted you to live exhausted from repeating what was meant to be resolved. That is why I let the pattern grow heavy, so heavy that you could no longer carry it in silence. You tried to fix it, to change yourself, to pray harder, to love deeper, to hope longer. But the truth is, you were never meant to overcome the cycle by effort, only by surrender. You kept saying, "This time will be different," but you were still leaning on your own strength, still holding on to people and patterns I was trying to release from your grasp. I have been waiting for the moment when you would finally lift your hands and say, "I can't do this anymore," because that's where freedom begins, not when you find the answer, but when you stop pretending you can create one without me. So hear me clearly. The cycle ends now, not because of your striving, but because I am stepping into it. I am interrupting what has repeated for too long. You will look back one day and realize that the season that once broke you became the place I rebuilt you. I am taking what once drained your spirit and turning it into the testimony that will strengthen others. No, this is not the end. It is the divine pause before I write the rhythm of your days. You have gone through the same pain long enough. Now, I am shifting the ground beneath you, altering the pattern, breaking the familiar ache. You will not wander this circle again, because I have already placed my hand upon it. You are not cursed. You are being carved. You are not stuck. You are being shaped. And soon you will see that what once kept repeating was simply me preparing you for the moment I could say, "No more. Enough." Can you feel the power in that word? It is not a whisper of frustration. It is a decree of heaven. I am speaking that word over your life now. Enough. The pain that has recycled through your years, the shame that has stalked you in the dark, the guilt that has replayed itself in your mind like a song that refuses to end. Enough. I am the God who parts seas and commands storms to be still, and I am commanding your storm to cease. You have fought, cried, endured, and questioned for so long, but now I, the Lord your Maker, have drawn a line in the sand. What once held you cannot hold you any longer. The enemy that pursued you has reached the boundary of my decree, and it cannot pass through the wall of my word. You have thought that deliverance would come with fanfare, with flashing signs and sudden miracles, but often, my deliverance comes in the quiet moment when I simply say, "No more." I do not need to wrestle what already bows to my authority. When I speak, creation obeys. And when I speak over you, the cycle must break. The chains must fall. The familiar suffering that has wrapped around your soul like a vine will loosen and die, because my breath carries power that nothing on earth or in hell can resist. You have walked through the valley again and again, but I tell you now, this is the moment I stand in your path and declare it closed. You will not walk through this valley again. You will not weep the same tears again. You will not keep returning to what I have already redeemed. Child, you have endured enough. You have believed through enough. I have heard every cry, felt every tremor in your faith, and seen every step you took when you could barely move. And now, in this holy instant, I place my hand upon your heart and say, "Peace." I am lifting the burden that has defined your years. I am replacing the echoes of despair with the sound of restoration. Where there was confusion, I am planting clarity. Where there was fear, I am establishing strength. From this day forward, when you look back, you will see a line, the line where I said enough. This is your moment of divine interruption, the point where history bends under the authority of grace. You will no longer survive the same storm. You will rise above it, because I have spoken, and when I say it is finished, it is finished. You have asked me why, haven't you? Why the same pain? Why the same wound reopened through new phases, new seasons, new disappointments? You thought I was silent because I was distant, but I was watching the roots, not the surface. I saw how deeply the hurt went, how it wasn't just the situation that wounded you, but the meaning you attached to it. You believed you were unworthy of peace because peace never lasted. You believed love wasn't meant for you because it kept slipping away. But I allowed the repetition, not to punish you, but to expose the lie buried beneath your endurance. The cycle was not to crush you. It was to uncover what needed to be healed. You see, every time the pain repeated, I was holding up a mirror. I was asking you to look deeper, not at the people who hurt you, not at the circumstances that betrayed you, but at the pattern that whispered you were destined to struggle. I never sent the pain, but I permitted the exposure. Because what you cannot see, you cannot surrender. I could have healed you instantly, yes, but you would not have recognized the beauty of wholeness if you never understood the weight of what broke you. So I allowed you to face the familiar again, but this time with new eyes. I have been training your heart to discern the difference between cycles and seasons, between what wounds and what works for your good. Child, I am not cruel. I am careful. I know how to use what hurt you to strengthen what was fragile. I have allowed certain things to resurface, not to bring you backward, but to bring them into my light once and for all. For what you bring into the light can no longer control you in the dark. So hear me. This pain was never random. It carried revelation. It taught you who you are, what you will no longer tolerate, and how much my grace can rebuild. You will not repeat this again because now you see the truth behind it. You understand now that not every open door is divine, not every familiar voice is safe, and not every opportunity is meant for your spirit. This time, your discernment is your deliverance. This time, your awareness is your armor. What was once the reason for your tears will soon be the foundation of your wisdom. And you will finally understand what I have been saying all along. I did not allow this pain to break you. I allowed it to reveal you. You have grown used to the weight, haven't you? The weight that wraps around your soul like an invisible chain. Heavy, yet strangely comfortable. You call it survival, but I see how it binds you. You stayed in places not because they gave you life, but because they were familiar. You held onto habits, people, and thoughts that drained you simply because they felt known. But, my beloved, I never meant for you to live your life memorizing the patterns of pain. I did not create you to find peace in your prison. I know you've mistaken familiarity for safety, but I tell you now, comfort is not always your friend when it keeps you from your calling. I have watched you cling to what has already expired, thinking it will somehow sustain you again. You have replayed the same conversations in your mind, hoping the ending will change, but it never does. You've prayed for newness while clutching what is old, asking me for transformation while holding tightly to what I'm trying to remove. Hear me. I cannot fill hands that refuse to release. You see, the familiar is deceptive. It whispers, "You've been here before. You can handle this," when what I'm trying to show you is that you were never meant to handle it alone. You've built walls around your heart made of old memories, old fears, old ways of thinking, but those walls have become your cage. You tell yourself that at least here, you know what to expect. But I am calling you out of that false peace into the true peace that only exists where freedom reigns. The wilderness may feel uncertain, but it is safer than the comfort that's killing your purpose. The familiar may feel easy, but it will cost you more than the unknown ever will. I am not calling you to what feels manageable. I am calling you to what is miraculous. I know what you fear. You fear losing control, losing people, losing stability. But what if I told you that everything you lose for my sake is making room for everything eternal? What if I told you that the chains you feel are not the result of my will, but of your unwillingness to walk out when I've opened the door? My child, it is time to move. Do not look back at the Egypt of your past. Look forward to the promise that waits ahead. I am cutting the ties that have kept you walking in circles, and though it may ache to let go, it will soon feel like breathing again. What was once a pattern will become a memory, and what once confined you will become your testimony. For when I break the chains of the familiar, I do not just set you free. I teach you to never bind yourself again. You have tried to break it on your own, haven't you? You prayed, fasted, wept, declared, and fought, yet somehow the same struggle seems to find its way back to your doorstep. You began to wonder if perhaps freedom was for others, not for you. But hear me. I never expected you to fight this battle by yourself. I am not the distant observer of your suffering. I am the one who steps into it. I do not stand outside your fire commanding you to endure. I walk into it beside you, as I did for my children long ago. When they stood in the furnace, the flames could not consume them because I was the fourth presence in the fire. And now I am the same presence standing in yours. You are not alone in your battle, nor will you ever be again. You see, deliverance was never about how strong you could become. It was always about how surrendered you were willing to be. The power that ends the cycle is not found in your resistance, it's found in my presence. When you finally stop fighting me and let me fight for you, that is when the atmosphere begins to shift. The walls that once held you in will tremble and crumble because they cannot stand against the one who built the foundations of the earth. Every force that has opposed your freedom has already bowed to my name. The fire will not burn you because I am in it. The flood will not drown you because I walk on its waves. The same God who delivered you once will deliver you again, but this time, permanently. I step into your pain not as a spectator, but as a savior. When I enter the scene, the outcome is rewritten. What was meant to destroy you becomes the soil of your destiny. I do not erase your scars. I transform them into proof that deliverance is real. I have been in every moment you thought you faced alone, when you were too tired to pray, too broken to hope, too ashamed to ask for help. I was there, holding you up with invisible arms, whispering truth while you slept through tears. Now, as I stand within your storm, I am speaking one word that changes everything: freedom. From this moment, the cycle cannot continue, because the presence that kept you alive is now the presence that will raise you higher. You are not trapped in repetition anymore, you are standing in redemption. There are things you agreed to without realizing it, quiet lies whispered to your spirit in moments of pain. You said to yourself, maybe I deserve this, or maybe this is all I'll ever be. And without knowing, you signed invisible contracts with the enemy of your peace. Every time you repeated those words, the lie gained ground. But today I am tearing those papers apart. I am breaking the silent agreements that kept you bound to what I never spoke over you. You are not unworthy. You are not too broken. You are not forgotten. I have called you mine since before time began, and no wound, no failure, no voice of accusation can override the truth. The blood I shed speaks louder than every lie you've believed. You've lived long enough thinking you had to prove yourself to be loved. You've spent too much time apologizing for existing, for being imperfect, for feeling weak. But I never asked for perfection. I asked for your heart. You've believed you had to earn my presence, yet I have always been near. I am breaking every unholy agreement, the belief that you are bound to fear, the idea that your past defines your worth, the vow that you would never trust again. All of it ends now. I am writing your name on the scroll of freedom. I am sealing your identity not with shame, but with my spirit. When you stop agreeing with the lie loses its power. When you start agreeing with me, heaven moves on your behalf. I speak over you now. You are redeemed. You are chosen. You are whole. You will no longer echo the words that once cursed your peace. Instead, your mouth will carry words that heal, restore, and create new beginnings. You will no longer bow to the memories that tried to dictate your future. I am cutting the last thread that tied you to yesterday's voice. This is your liberation day. The same mouth that once spoke defeat will now prophesy destiny. For the old agreements are void, the chains are broken, and the new covenant has been sealed. Walk forward, child, no longer as a survivor of cycles, but as the living proof that truth, once believed, can set a soul completely free. You've asked me to heal what hurts, but you did not know that I would reach this deep. I am not touching just the surface of your pain. I am reaching into the hidden folds of your heart, the places even you have forgotten how to name. There are memories you buried beneath years of distraction and survival, moments you dismissed as just life, yet they became the quiet architects of your fear. I have seen the tears you never allowed to fall, the way you silenced your pain so you could keep functioning, keep smiling, keep moving. But my love refuses to let infection stay beneath the surface. I do not heal halfway. I do not patch wounds. I restore wholeness. You've asked me why it feels harder before it feels better, why the ache intensifies when you draw near to me. It is because light always stings the eyes that have known only darkness. When I bring truth into your hidden places, the pain you feel is not new. It is simply what was always there, finally allowed to breathe. You learn to live with certain wounds as if they were part of you, but they were never meant to define you. Every memory that once whispered shame, every voice that convinced you you'd never be enough, every moment that stole your confidence, I am rewriting them now in the language of redemption. You thought the past was sealed, but I am the author of time. I can reach backward and heal what you thought was irreversible. I am not bound by your chronology. I am touching the child in you who learned fear too early, the soul in you that stopped trusting too soon, the heart in you that mistook pain for punishment. I am placing my hand on those memories until they no longer bleed when touched. You do not have to avoid the past anymore. Soon, it will no longer hurt to remember. It will only remind you of how far my grace carried you. Do not resist this process, child. The pain surfacing now is not a sign of regression. It is the evidence of release. I am cleansing your spirit from within, pouring oil into cracks that no one else could see. You will wake one morning and realize that the memories that used to control you now hold no power. The names, faces, and moments that once haunted you will lose their sting. This is the kind of healing that goes deeper than words, deeper than reason. This is soul surgery, and I am the only one who knows how to close the wound without leaving a scar. So rest in me, even when the work feels painful. Let me dig until the roots of sorrow are removed. For when I am finished, you will no longer lie from your pain. You will live from your peace. Do you know why I led you into the wilderness? Not to punish you, but to prepare you. What you called abandonment, I called refinement. What you thought was delay, I designed as transformation. The wilderness is not where I lose you. It's where I find you stripped of everything false, ready to be formed by my hand alone. I know how long you have wandered, searching for a way out, wondering if I still walk beside you. But look closely. The wilderness that once felt empty is now full of whispers. Every dry place holds evidence of my presence. The silence that used to terrify you has become the sound of me shaping you. You entered this place burdened by questions, but you will leave carrying answers written in the language of trust. You see, the wilderness was never about punishment. It was about purification. I had to bring you away from the noise so you could finally distinguish my voice from all the others. You prayed for growth, but growth requires solitude. You asked for strength, but strength is born in the absence of certainty. I allowed the ground beneath you to crack so that your roots could go deeper. I let familiar comforts fall away so that when I bless you, your heart will no longer depend on temporary things. I have been walking beside you every step, when the nights were long and your prayers seemed to vanish into the dark. I was teaching you to hear me differently. I was showing you that faith is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to keep walking even when you cannot see. And now, the wilderness that once broke you will become the platform that reveals you. The same ground that felt like desolation will soon bloom with purpose. The same silence that scared you will soon echo with your testimony. I am transforming the place of your tears into a river of revelation. You will understand that this was never a detour, it was divine direction. You will see how the wilderness stripped away everything that was lesser so you could receive everything that was lasting. You are emerging not weaker but wiser, not barren but blooming. When others see the wilderness, they will see desolation. But when I look at you, I see resurrection. You will come out of this carrying the fragrance of survival and the evidence of grace. You have stood at this crossroad long enough. You stared at the old paths, afraid to move forward, uncertain if the new way will hold you. But I am not leading you into uncertainty, I am leading you into fulfillment. The road ahead is not a repetition of where you've been. It is the unfolding of what I promised. I am carving a new path, one that your feet have never walked, but your spirit has always known. You have prayed for direction, and I have heard every whisper. The path I set before you is narrow, yes, but it is steady. It will not lead you back to the places that drained you. It will not echo the voices that once kept you small. It will call you forward into a life that mirrors my intention for you, whole, courageous, and unafraid. You will feel me in every turn you take. I will close doors quickly now, not to confuse you but to protect you from detours. I will align people, opportunities, and moments with such precision that you will no longer question if you are in my will, you will know you are. The peace that will settle in your spirit will be your compass. Where there is peace, there I am. This new path will require faith, yes, but it will also reveal how much I've already prepared you. You are not stepping into something foreign. You are stepping into the very thing you were created for. Every lesson, every heartbreak, every wilderness moment has led here. Nothing hath been wasted. Child, you must stop looking over your shoulder. The past cannot follow you where I am taking you. This new way is marked by purpose, not pain. You will find joy again, not the kind that flickers and fades, but the kind that anchors you. As you walk, you will sense heaven's rhythm in your steps. I am clearing stones from your path, making crooked places straight, and leveling the ground beneath you. Trust me with the steps you cannot yet see. I am the God who builds roads in deserts and rivers in wastelands. And now, I am doing it for you. Take one more step forward, beloved, not in fear, but in faith, because the path I am carving is not leading you away from me. It's leading you straight into the promise I've been preparing all along. You have walked far, haven't you? Every step has carried the weight of what you thought you'd left behind. You smiled when your heart was breaking, prayed when your voice trembled, and pressed on even when your soul whispered, I can't. I have watched you stagger beneath burdens you never should have carried alone. You kept moving because surrender felt like failure. But I tell you now, your perseverance was never unseen. You thought strength meant always standing tall, but real strength is found in the hands that reach for me when the weight becomes too much. I am not asking you to be unbreakable. I am asking you to bring me your breaking. For when your power ends, mine begins. When your breath runs out, I breathe for you. Every time you thought you were at your limit, my grace was refilling you, drop by drop, unseen but constant. You didn't realize it, but you have survived more than storms. You have survived yourself. And that survival was not by accident, it was by design. And now, listen closely. I am renewing your strength. Not the same strength that simply helped you endure, but a new kind that will help you rise. You have been walking in survival mode for too long, living one breath from collapse, thinking that resilience was your only option. But I am replacing resilience with rest, striving with stillness, exhaustion with empowerment. You will wake and find your energy returning not from sleep, but from spirit. You will move with a grace that feels weightless, because it no longer depends on willpower. It depends on me. You will notice that what once drained you no longer does. The situations that used to leave you weary will not hold the same power. This is not a temporary renewal. It is a divine exchange. I am giving you a different kind of strength, not to carry the same battles, but to live beyond them. You will walk lighter, not because the road is easier, but because you finally understand that you are not walking it alone. Your story of exhaustion is about to become your testimony of restoration. The world will look at you and wonder how you found new fire where ashes once were. They will not know that it was I who poured the oil of renewal over your spirit. So breathe again, my beloved. The days of merely surviving are ending. You are stepping into days of thriving, of walking with ease of one who has been carried by invisible hands. This renewal is not something you must earn. It is your inheritance. Your power returns not through effort, but through rest in me. The same way the sun rises each morning without struggle, you too will rise, steadily, quietly, gloriously, because my light in you has never gone out. You have waited a long time for evidence, haven't you? For something tangible to confirm that all the tears, prayers, and patience were not in vain. I know how heavy waiting can feel, how the silence between my promise and its fulfillment can echo with doubt. You have looked at others being blessed and wondered if I somehow overlooked you. You've whispered, "Lord, when is it my turn?" But I have heard every word. The delay was not denial, it was development. I was shaping not just what you would receive, but who you would be when you received it. And now, beloved, you are standing on the threshold of manifestation. The things I spoke over you in secret are about to emerge in sight. You will begin to see subtle shifts, closed doors unlocking, hearts softening, opportunities aligning. These are not coincidences, they are confirmations. Every tear you sowed in faith has watered a promise that is now pushing through the soil. The waiting was a womb where purpose formed. I allowed time to stretch so that trust could deepen, because blessings built on impatience crumble too easily. You thought nothing was happening, but I was working behind every not yet. The evidence of my promise will not only come through blessings you can hold, but through peace that cannot be shaken. You will find yourself walking into rooms that once intimidated you, carrying a confidence that did not come from you. The things that used to take all your strength will happen with ease, because my favor is now the wind at your back. You will see evidence not just around you, but within you. The healing of your heart, the softening of your spirit, the restoration of your hope. This is the season of visible proof. What was whispered in darkness will be declared in daylight. You will no longer need to convince others that I am faithful. Your life itself will become the testimony. Where there was lack, there will be abundance. Where there was confusion, there will be clarity. Where there was delay, there will be acceleration. And when it happens, you will know it was me. Not luck, not coincidence, but covenant. The same God who promised is the God who performs. Every word I've spoken over you carries my breath, and my breath does not return void. Look around you with new eyes, child. The evidence of my promise is already unfolding. This is the moment you've been waiting for, the closing of a chapter and the dawn of a new beginning. Hear me clearly, you are free. Not halfway free, not momentarily relieved, completely, undeniably, eternally free. The chains that held you have fallen, not by your might but by my mercy. The weight that once defined your days has lifted, and though your body still remembers the ache, your spirit is already soaring. You have carried your pain like armor, but I am showing you that you no longer need to fight for survival. Freedom is not the absence of struggle, it is the awareness that no struggle can own you anymore. The things that once terrified you now tremble at the sound of your peace. You are free from the lies that said you would never change. You are free from the memories that tried to trap you in guilt. You are free from the cycles that promised comfort but delivered chaos. Every invisible shackle that once tightened with every step has been shattered by my word. This is not a feeling. It is a fact written into the foundation of eternity. When I set someone free, they are free indeed. Walk in that truth. Speak it over yourself until it becomes the rhythm of your thoughts. When fear tries to whisper, answer with freedom. When the past tries to pull you back, answer with freedom. Every time the world tells you who you used to be, remind it of who you are now, redeemed, restored, released. And now, beloved, lift your head. The wilderness is behind you. The valley no longer echoes your sorrow. Ahead lies open sky and endless possibility. You will walk through this world lighter than you've ever felt, not because it has changed, but because you have. Freedom is not just your state, it is your new identity. You will love again without fear, dream again without hesitation, and live again without apology. The same hands that freed you are now guiding you forward, marking a new chapter where grace is your anchor and joy is your compass. So go, child, walk in the fullness of what I've spoken. You are no longer the one who merely survived. You are the one who overcame. And this is my eternal decree over you. You will not go through that again, for you are free, and you are free indeed. Amen.